Hello, welcome back to the Den. Thank you very much for joining us. It's good to have you with us. We are changing up how we're doing the videos, which is quite exciting. So we've got our own playlist now, which you can check out in the usual place where you find the Retropower uncut videos. So we're going to go inside. We're going to have a bit of a deeper dive into one car. So we're going to go and see what's going on and have a look at what that car is. Workshop's very busy, which is great, packed out. We've got a few due to leave us quite soon, got even more due to come in, which is excellent. So we're very excited to have new cars. So we're going to be having a look today at this Alfa Romeo Sprint. So this is an 86 Alfa Sprint, 1.5 boxer engine, very rare car, very kind of in the middle of a lot of different models of its time, where they kind of developed and sort of reverse developed different cars to end up with what this is. So it's a super low mileage car. We're going to have a look around and then we'll do a little guessing game. Who can guess the closest how many miles this has done? Because I'll give you a clue, it's not very many. Obviously Alfas and Italian cars, they have a bit of a, well, they're the butt of a lot of jokes about rust and corrosion, thin tin and not really lasting very long. This car started life in the Middle East, was bought new by its current owner, so its original owner from new. And by virtue of the fact it was born in the Middle East, it's still very, very solid. It did come back over to the UK shortly after, and to the car's benefit, it's been stored, dry stored and had minimal use. Doesn't really go out in inclement weather too much when the owner can avoid it. And the owner then spent most of his career travelling and working around the world. So it kind of had limited use over its whole life really. So that's partly why the mileage is low and why it's in such good solid condition. In addition to kind of the limited use and exposure to weather, the owner had it wax oiled from new. So we're leaving all that because we don't want to kind of disturb and get into that. I think we'll end up making things worse. We are doing a little bit of corrosion protection, but we'll get into that shortly. So yeah, the owner did a really cool road trip back from the Middle East in this. A couple of sort of long ferry journeys around Greece, Cyprus and up to Italy, and then drove it back, made a bit of a road trip of it with some friends. He's documented that trip in a folder that he's got with the car, so it's fascinating reading. And there's a very cool I was going to say before and after photo, so picture of him in 86 and then subsequently in 2016, same pose with the car. So it's fascinating to see the sort of differences. So Luke's been working on this car with Matt, so we'll have a bit of a chat with Luke about some of the specifics that have been going on with the car.
Now, if Jay takes his moment to walk around the other side of the car, I can hopefully go through some stuff, if I can remember, what we've been doing. I don't know if you heard a minute ago that you can tell that Nick's fans are out next door, are screaming quite loudly. I know he takes great pride in that. Yeah. Right, so what we've done is we've just done general maintenance work on this so far. We have replaced the clutch master cylinder because that was leaking down the bulkhead, stripped all the paint off. So we've sanded all that up, painted it, refreshed it all, replaced the clutch master cylinder. We have also put some fancy red HT leads on this system as a request of the customer. And it's quite nice to actually bring a bit of colour into an engine bay instead of just seeing brown and black and a random wire every now and then, but no, it looks really, really good. We had to also replace the washer jet pipe work. Initially it was clear like that and hard plastic all the way round, and unfortunately somewhere along the lines we had a whole pinhole, so the washer jets didn't work. So we had to take all of this box out just to get underneath, and what was really, really nice, it tucked and wrapped around the wiper linkage, which was rather entertaining with people with decent sized hands. Yeah.
So you're all right then with your micro hands?
Oh yeah, with my girl hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're actually upholstery hands. From what Rich used to say, they're not women's hands, they're upholstery hands.
Upholstery hands.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're soft, or does it mean they're all hard and leathery?
I didn't really ask him that question. I might have to ring him and find out.
Find out, yeah.
Yeah.
Get some clarification.
Get some clarification. Also, these little stays here were initially black and the paint was flaking all off them and they looked really, really tatty. I went off script a little bit and painted them John Deere green?
John Deere green, yeah.
John Deere green, because we've repainted the calipers John Deere green, but I'll show you those in a minute. I thought, see if the customer likes it. He hasn't responded yet, so they may be going back black, but who knows.
I think they look really good.
I think
it's like you're saying about the colour in the engine bay with the HT leads. I think it looks really nice as a little highlight.
Yeah.
And the green is kind of the cloverleaf quadrifolia thing of
Goes with
Alfa Romeo, so it looks quite cool.
Yeah.
And also, about the HT leads, I think they look really good. And also, as the customer's saying, the car originally had red HT leads from new, and the ones on there were black, and he wanted to go back to the red for originality, so they look mega.
Yeah, I think they look smart, they really do. Another bit of useless information, this is fitted with a flat 4, which is also known as a boxer engine. Now, I was curious on where did the boxer term come from, and it is as simple as boxing. Because the pistons work effectively like that, they called it a boxer engine because it relates to a boxing match. So I'm not too sure, you know, if you lose a piston, it decides to come out the engine bay, does that mean it's an uppercut? Because it's going in a different direction.
No idea, mate.
Okay. Anyway, back to the car. We put a new auxiliary drive belt on it, HT leads, dizzy cap, rotor arm. We have, in true style, we don't fit normal paper filters. Nice Den logo air filter in there.
Courtesy of ITG, our friends at ITG.
So yet again, guys, if you want a nice Den air filter in your car, email Nick and we can get one ordered. I'm sure Jay will put his email at the bottom of the screen around about now. But yeah, look really, really nice.
Yeah. And then additionally for the top of the airbox, the lid is a steel lid. It's a little bit crusty and not ideal, so we've had that blasted and Xylan coated along with the steel straps that hold it on. And the reason we kind of tagged it on to doing some other Xylan, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes.
Yes, yeah.
But it will just help finish the engine bay. It will just refresh it and look really smart.
Because it's one of those, it's a focus point. When the bonnet's open, it's a big metal plate pan that sits right there. So it's the first thing you see. So you want it to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Carburetors.
Carburetors.
The customer also requested that we rebuild the carbs. So this has got twin DRLA Delorto downdraft, twin chokes, 36s. The customer rebuilt them 8 or 9 years ago, I think. And he said it's never quite been perfect since then. And he's had a bit of an issue with, I think it was one of the idle air screws, I think. So he's just requested from the get-go that we rebuild those. So we'll have those apart. We'll get the housings vapor blasted and ultrasonic cleaned. We'll go through the jets. The rebuild kits are easily available with the gaskets and the seals. Put those back together, get those back on the car, and then we'll go down to a very good local specialist who has a rolling road, quite an old school little setup with a rolling road, but absolutely perfect for this type of car. Relatively low output, it's like 105 horsepower, I think, and just get them balanced and tuned and set up properly. People often say to me in the past about sort of rolling road and dyno on older cars, because it's not expensive per se, but it's a bit of money, and you're not necessarily getting something tangible that you can put your hands on. But actually, in my experience, when you do set a car up properly on a rolling road, the difference is night and day. The car drives so much better, so much smoother. The carbs are working together, and just the whole experience and the drivability of the car is improved. So it's always well worth it. So I always say, if you're doing anything with carbs, just spend that little bit more money, decent rolling road, someone who knows what they're doing with carburetors to get them set up properly. So that's the carburetors.
So not an Etch-a-Sketch map?
Not an Etch-a-Sketch map. No, I know you love your Etch-a-Sketch maps.
I was looking forward to that.
So inside the car, Would you want to talk about what we've done inside the car?
Do you want to open the door for Jamie
Yes.
so he can see what he's doing? Oh, right, so yeah, there's not a lot to see in here because we took it all out. The front seats had to come out because we had to give them to James, because when you tap the seats, you just got a massive cloud of dust come out of them. So I think the foam had started separating, breaking down. So those went to James, get them retrimmed. We did have a couple of dents in that rear quarter where Jamie stood, but to get to the panel for our paintless dent guy to repair them, which was Dent Technique, we had to take the door card off, the rear quarter card off. To get the rear quarter card off, the seats have got to come out. A bit of a faff, but if you want the job doing right, then you do the faff. So yes, there's not a damn sight to see in here. Oh, one thing I did forget, the customer is quite a tall guy, and when he wanted to go for fifth gear, he was like pretty much putting his back out, you know, really having to reach forwards. So he asked for us to pitch the gear knob back by about 2 inches. So Matt took the gear lever off. We ended up having to drop the gearbox down because one of the bolts would come out because it was hitting the transmission tunnel. So dropped the gearbox down, got all this out, took it up to Nat at Retropower, and he did a beautiful bend in it for us, and then we put it back in. So now, yeah, we're back by 2 inches. Customer's seen it and he absolutely loves it. Yeah, he's buzzing over it. So that is the interior.
So we'll have a little look some of the other service bits we've done. So we've given the brakes some attention. The brakes essentially were basically fine. There's nothing wrong with them per se. The customer had previously painted the rear drums in the John Deere green that we previously mentioned, and they were just getting a little bit tatty. The customer had also previously painted the rear springs John Deere green as well. So they're fine. We're not.
Here's one I made earlier.
Here's one he made earlier. We're not doing anything with those. They're fine. But we've repainted the rear drums. So we just used some paint stripper to get the old paint off, given them a gentle blast, given them a couple of coats of base coat of the John Deere green. And we did the same on the front calipers as well. On the inspection, I just picked up that it's a sliding caliper, and the slides on the outside were just a bit dry. And I just kind of got that feeling it just needed a bit of a service. So I'd recommend to the customer we take them apart, just clean them, re-grease them, put them back together. So we said, well, while they're apart, let's paint those as well. So we painted those. As usual, Luke's done a really good job of painting those. And it's like you're saying about the interior and the faff, it's to do that job well just takes a little bit of time. It's just the prep, doing it carefully, doing it properly, and the results will last a long time. So we've done those front calipers. I think Jamie's got a bit of B-roll of those, or we can put some images up. So that's the brakes. We put new rear wheel cylinders on. One was a bit leaky.
Bleed nipple broke on the other.
Yeah, and to be fair, they didn't look particularly old. I think it might almost be lack of use more than anything else. We put new rear wheel cylinders on. Then if we go to the back, we can talk about the exhaust.
The nice shiny exhaust. We'll let Joe reposition so we can see. Go on, Jamie. After you, young man. So
these originally came with what you see here. This is a new one that we've got with little twin pipes. It's only 1.5, don't forget. Little twin pipes that are chromed. Now, as is often the case with older cars, parts become obsolete. The pattern makers don't make them anymore, so you can't get them. So a lot of the Alfas, as the customer's telling us, that they're basically, you can get a back box, but it just has a single cut tailpipe. So a lot of owners, when he goes to meetings and events and stuff, they pick up on the fact he's still got the twin pipes. The back box has rotted from the inside out with the condensation. So we revised the new system, and we've actually found a back box which is now available again from a specialist with the twin pipes, which are chrome, which is excellent. So the customer's really pleased about that. It just adds that originality back into the car. So we'll get that fitted up. And the other thing I was going to talk about while we're down here was the fuel tank. So the fuel tank just got a few spots of surface corrosion on the outside. one of the straps is quite rusty. So we're just going to take the straps off, drop the tank out. We can address the tank properly. Again, it's just about putting the time in to do it really well, make sure it's going to last. And while the tank's out, we can inspect the floor underneath or above the tank, but the bottom side of the floor, and we can just clean that and we can wax that just to make sure that is absolutely solid. Repaint or refinish the tank straps as we need to, get all that refitted back on the tank.
Nick mentioned about Xylan coating.
Yes.
So, rear window frames. These window frames around here, they're originally chrome, and the black coating started flaking off. So the customer asked us to address it, and it's like, yeah, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So we decided to Xylan coat them because it's the best hard-wearing coating you could put on. We could wrap them in vinyl, but they're not going to last forever. And they'll start peeling off and you'll be having to do it again. Where at least with Xylan coating, we've got a fighting chance of it lasting a damn sight longer. These were a pig to get off, an absolute pig. We put loads of tape down here, got quite a bit like a wallpaper scraper, nice and broad, underneath the seal. Give it a good smack, and it just started popping, and we managed to peel them off. So those are away for Xylan coating, but the amount the amount you've got to strip off to get these off. Yeah, again, it's a faff, but we could have done it without the faff, and we'd probably ended up breaking like something like the window. I could imagine we wouldn't get one of those. What's really cool about these windows, they actually open. So back here, you've got your pivot point, which seats it about there, and then inside, you've got your window winder, and it just tilts it. Yeah, I've wound it down so it won't go up, but only opens that little bit. It's not massive, but when you wind it up, it tilts up because it pivots on this point here. Really nice touch. Instead of having like pop-out windows, yeah, I love that. I think really nice attention to detail. That's wicked. What else have we done down this side? I think
there's a bit of paintwork. Sorry to butt in. So there's just some sort of normal wear and tear stone chips on the arches, the back end of the arches. But one comment that only gets a lot from people at shows and stuff who know the cars is you can, because it's never been repaired, there's still very noticeable spot welds on the inner lip of the arch. So he's very keen that whatever repair we do to address that, the surface corrosion on there, we keep the evidence of the spot welds there, just to keep the originality in it.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
We have covered everything.
And it's a lovely thing to have, and it's another car that people look at when they come in, they notice it, and they're interested by it. And you know, by the owner's own admission, he kind of thought, I'm not really sure about taking it to Den because it's not really that special. But actually, it is special.
It doesn't matter whether it's special to everybody else. As long as it's special to the owner, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
In my eyes. And that's what makes a petrolhead a petrolhead. Yeah. They find love in something that other people just think is plain right boring. Yeah. And that's also why we do find our daily work exciting. We may use the word exciting a lot. It's because we love what we do, and everything that comes through the door in its own way is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, that's my input anyway.
Yeah, no, it's a cool thing. So I hope you enjoyed that little deep dive into what we're doing on the Alfa, and stay tuned for more next week, and we'll see you then. And don't forget, guess the mileage. Let us know what you think to the nearest 1,000 miles, and we may or may not announce a winner of nothing. I don't know. Cheers all. Bye for now.
Laters.